So if you add validates the length of the fields, we're actually passing the complete field. So we're going to write this function. Function validate length, and this is going to take a field. We're passing this, but this is going to be these fields, email, subject, or message. So right here, we're going to have access to the length using if. We're going to use field that value, and then if you remember, we can access the length of any string just by adding the method .length. If the method .length is greater than 0, then we're going to add the following field, and we're going to apply an styling style. Border bottom color is going to be equals to green. So this means that the validation is successful. And then we're going to add a class. If you remember, we have these errors. So we're going to return a class. Field dot class list dot, and in this case we're going to remove error just in case that we have any errors. And in the other hand, we're going to copy this, and this is going to be red, and we're going to add right here an error. So let's save this, and let's open, for example, this subject, click inside, then click outside, and you can see that we have this red line. If you take a look here and you inspect the code, you will find that we have this class called error. So this part is being executed. The border bottom with the color red, and also is adding this class called error. If you come here and type something, then release the button, it's going to print the border in the bottom with green color, and it will remove also the class. So you can see the class is gone. So let's reload this, and let's add something here directly. Then release the input, and you can see that it prints the border with green color, but it didn't remove the class because the class doesn't exist. So this code doesn't hurt if there is no error class, but it's going to be really helpful, especially, for example, if I reload again, click here and then click outside to remove this class if the class is there. So it's going to be really helpful, and that's why I'm using this code. So right after this, right after we validate the length, we're gonna validate the email. If you take a look here, for example, if we send to the console.log this and save this, I'm gonna open the two field, click here and then click outside. You can see that we have input ID, email, and the type is an email. So we can use this type and check. I'm gonna remove this. If this dot type is equals to an email, then I want to run a special validation, which is going to be validate email. And we're gonna pass the wall input. So this way, for example, the other two fields, the subject is a type text and the other one is a text area. This one are not equals to the type email. But the other one, this one, is type email, and we're going to check in this field if there is an @ sign, at least one @ sign. Validate email, checks for @ in the value, something like this function, and we're gonna validate the email, and this is going to take also a field, and then we're gonna add the next. We're gonna add email text is going to be equals to field dot value, so we can access the value that has written here, and then we're gonna check if the email text contains the @ sign. So we're gonna add if email text, and if you remember, we have a method called index of. When index of doesn't find anything, it's going to return a -1. So in this case, we're checking if this text contains this @, so then probably it's going to be an email. So we're gonna check if index of, and we're checking the @ is not equal to -1. That means that we have passed the validation. So it's going to be a code really similar to this. So we're gonna copy and paste this code. But remember, this validate email function is going to run only when the type of email is equals to email. So reload this, and I'm gonna add the cursor right here in the 2, release, and you can see that we have the validation error. If you add something like hello, then it's going to trigger the validation error for the validate email. You need to have at least this @ sign. So you can add something like hello@hello.com and then click outside. And now you can see the border of the input now is in color green. So now you can see that our validation functions are working, and we also have this special validation function to validate the emails. So in the next video, we're gonna continue working with this.